Just hit me when I told you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Xinfeng had no choice but to hold the judgment blade and directly slashed across the head of the little gray chicken. 7. 5AU weak point attack. The gray chicken cleverly raised its wings and tried to resist the attack, but found that 2 feathers on its head were cut off. But it didn't lose blood. Hiss. Your Majesty, you can still heal. After the voice fell, the little phoenix had no time to do anything else. Seeing that Qinfeng's blood volume began to drop, it quickly jumped in front of Qinfeng and started to scratch him. +1. Then W weak point attack. +1. Auto weak point attack. +1. 7 weak point attack. One person and one phoenix immediately tugged together. Although the flames burned on their bodies and their blood volume dropped for a while, they were instantly lifted up by each other. Stop fighting. Brother Qi was nervous and worried when he saw this scene. Don't fight anymore. Unfortunately, Xinfeng and Little Gray Chicken naturally couldn't stop. As the surrounding flame damage increased, the flames on both of them became stronger and stronger. The damage per second reached more than 10 Zarozen. You should know that Qinfeng and Gray Chicken's reduction of flame damage eventually reached more than 98%. This means that at this time, the basic flame damage around them is close to 1 million per second, which is equivalent to 5 or 6 times the initial amount. In this case, once Qinfeng and Gray Chicken stop, their health will not recover. Fortunately, as time goes by, the 50% discount on the goods has been fully extended, and Wang Yiweiyu also quickly sent Qinfeng the official things they wanted to buy in the 7th minute. Xinfeng bought everything in one go. 24 Oz years. By Weapon Sublimation Scroll Shield Disintegration, 6,000 years. By the Foundation of the Array Diamond level, 90 years. By Disappear Platinum level Universal Skill Book. In addition, there are a bunch of things that the official wants, which cost more than 5,000 years of life in total, which means that Qinfeng, as a middleman, can still earn more than 5,000 years of discount difference. When Qinfeng and the Gray Chicken were damaged by 15,000 per second, they were completely burned. My hair, the Gray Chicken screamed. When the 10th minute came, Xinfeng saw that a new item had indeed appeared in Brother Qi's product list. Friends, Brother G, you can come to accompany Brother Qi. Brother Qi is very happy. Here is Brother Qi's treasure. Before it finished speaking, Xinfeng spent 22,000 years of life to buy that thing at lightning speed. Then he turned around and ran away with the Gray Chicken in one hand. During this process, Xinfeng only saw that it was a legendary general skill book. He didn't have time to read the specifics, but as long as it was a skill book, Xinfeng would not lose money. Now Qinfeng's health would be burned by more than 20,000 per second, and he was almost unable to bear it. After all, under the influence of the contract of Roslav on his body, his upper limit of health was reduced by 50%, leaving him with a total health of more than 30,000. If he stayed any longer, even Qinfeng would have no way out. One man and one phoenix fought each other while running away. Before the withering curse effect ended, Qinfeng would raise his hand to continue, seamlessly connecting. Finally, swish, Qinfeng ran out of the area affected by the flames with the Gray Chicken. In just 1 minute, he ran about 30 kilometers in the desert. The air seemed to be distorted. When Qinfeng looked down, he found that the gray feathers on the Gray Chicken in his hand were almost burned. Qinfeng couldn't help laughing out loud. Laughing hair. Your Majesty, you also have hair. Your hair must also... The Gray Chicken laughed, but it started to cry because it found that Qinfeng was wearing an assassination hood on his head. With the protection of this legendary equipment, Hanfeng's hair was actually saved. Let me die. The Gray Chicken was extremely angry and ran into the flames with its bald feet, dead and resurrected. I will be a hero again in 60 minutes? Soon. Hanfeng heard a system prompt. Your pet Hell Phoenix, Gray Chicken juvenile name, has died. Meh. It will be resurrected in the pet space in 60 minutes. Guy. Xinfeng heard this system prompt and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Is this guy really unable to accept that he has become bald? Although as the owner, he can stop the little phoenix from dying. But after thinking about it, forget it. Without hair all over his body, the little guy is afraid to see people. So, Qinfeng raised his hand and summoned Osiris to his side. Hey, where's the Gray Chicken? Osiris looked around and didn't see the little phoenix. It burned to death and will be resurrected in an hour. Xinfeng answered. Upon hearing this, Osiris immediately said meaningfully, so was it burned to death or burned to death? Why are you leaving it here? While Qinfeng responded, he opened the greedy space and planned to check the skill book he had just bought in a hurry. Osiris looked lonely. Human assassin. Can't you understand this? Listen carefully and learn well. Sometimes a fever is not a real fever, but a fever. Just like calling daddy is not necessarily a real daddy. Xinfeng looked at it speechlessly. 6. Just when Qinfeng was about to sort out this harvest, Los Angeles ruins in North America. Due to the appearance of the shocking clown, millions of players in Los Angeles ruins were completely in chaos. Some went offline directly and dared not go online again. Some tried to teleport to other nearby city ruins. Some were killed by the shocking clown, and then fell into nightmares and ran around screaming. In the process, even some foreign player guilds discovered that many Daxia guild members did not seem to be assassinated by the shocking clown. Los Angeles ruins, southeast. A platinum level hideout called Noble Restaurant, covering more than 700 acres, is welcoming its second owner. It was originally a gangster guild in Los Angeles, but now it has been bought by a brand new guild. This guild is Skysnake. Originally, the Skysnake organization would be officially established in the next 2 days, and several strong men from other cities in North America were also invited to Los Angeles to join the Skysnake. Everyone was happy, but suddenly, the shocking clown appeared in the Los Angeles ruins and killed people everywhere. This made all the members of the Skysnake organization silent. They didn't dare to leave the hideout of the Noble restaurant, nor did they log off. Instead, they planned to rely on the platinum-level defensive barrier to observe the situation in the city. To them, they are the top powerhouses in North America, the elite of North America, and the backbone of Los Angeles. If something like this happens, who will stand up if they don't? So, they must find a way. At the round table in the lobby of the Noble restaurant hideout, a total of 7 leaders of the Sky Serpent organization were discussing seriously. 5 men and 2 women, including a middle-aged man of Chinese descent, with a very bad face. Son of a bitch. More than a dozen players from the Daxia Guild were not killed. They must have made a deal with the terrifying clown. It was the terrifying clown that was brought in by the Daxia people. I said before that those Daxia guilds should have been eradicated long ago, but you didn't listen to me. It's too late to say this now. We must condemn Daxia. Condemnation must be condemned. But for us, the most important thing is to get rid of that epic clown boss. So the question is, how to get rid of him? The only way is to let the shadow of Daxia take action. But will he take action? Speaking of this, everyone was silent for a while. After a moment, the middle-aged man slowly said, "It may not be impossible to let the shadow take action." This immediately attracted the attention of the other 6 people. I went out with my mother for the holiday today, so the update was a little late. Please forgive me, Tat. This middle-aged Chinese man is called Jizakai, and his codename in the Godforsaken game is Mr. Jide. In the Chinese community in North America, the famous Boss G is Jizakai's cousin. Compared with his relatives who are famous for doing business, Jizakai is the type who makes money quietly. He developed in California with his wife, children, and his mother's family, and has several large farms under his control. When the Godforsaken game came, Jizakai was very far-sighted. He sold all the properties in his hands at the first time and used all the liquid funds to buy life. Thus, in the early stage, he led the whole family to develop faster. Now, Jizakai regrets that he didn't sell the farm at that time. Originally, he thought that when the end of the world came, the value of his farms would rise. As a result, there is actually a Book of Divine Grant in the Godforsaken game. The threshold for obtaining the Book of Divine Gift is not high now, as more and more people can be self-sufficient. Jizakai's farms can be said to be completely useless and abandoned. Later, after several twists and turns, Jizakai joined the Skysnake organization. At first, the members of this organization were only in offline contact. Their usual actions were not only aimed at Daxia, but also at the strong men of other countries, and they were lured or coerced. And now, the Guild of the Skysnake organization was officially established, and its headquarters was set up in the ruins of Los Angeles, and it also bought this Noble restaurant hideout. Unexpectedly, the guild members were not assembled yet, and the shocking clown was lured to the ruins. When Jizakai expressed his thought, the other 6 people looked at him in surprise. One of the old men in a suit said in a deep voice, "Mr. J, although you used to be a Daxia person, the clown was lured by the Daxia people. If we want Shadow to take action and get rid of the boss, we must pay an unimaginable price." At this time, Jizakai was naturally a North American citizen. Otherwise, he would not have joined the Tianxi organization and even become one of the vice presidents of the Tianxi Guild. Of the 7 people present, except for the old man in a suit who is the president, the other 6 are vice presidents. The 6 vice presidents come from all over North America, such as Jizakai from California. This is the first time they have met online. Hearing the words of the old man in a suit, Jizakai bowed respectfully, then smiled and said, "Yes, if we really want to invite Shadow, our loss is too great. However, letting Shadow take action does not mean to invite him. Just a little operation will make Shadow come uninvited." His words aroused the interest of everyone, because they got the news that not long ago, Shadow on the level ranking list of Zhanghai City and Daxia had risen to level 30. This means that Shadow can be teleported across countries. At the signal of the old president in a suit, Jizakai continued to talk about his plan. It is obvious that the people of Daxia lured the boss here and proposed to deal with him so that he would not attack the dozen or so guilds of Daxia. Then, if the boss goes back on his word and does not abide by the agreement, Daxia will definitely be angry. If Daxia can cooperate with the boss, why can't we? As soon as these words came out, there was a beautiful white swordsman with long golden hair in the field, wearing a set of platinum level light armor, looking very elegant. She looked at Jizakai and said coldly, "I tried to send people to communicate with the clown, but the boss killed our people as soon as he saw them. There was no chance for communication at all." Jizakai smiled faintly and said, "Your thinking is too narrow. We don't need to really cooperate with the boss, as long as the people of Daxia think that we are cooperating with the boss. Do you understand what I mean?" When he said this, the old man frowned. "Do you want to provoke the relationship between the boss and the people of Daxia? Lure the shadow over and let the shadow kill the boss. That's right. Sowing discord and killing with a borrowed knife? This is from Daxia Wisdom. Jizukai nodded respectfully. We will send people to kill some people from the Daxia Guild and say that the boss forced us to do it. The lifespan we get will be taken away by the boss. This will create the illusion that the boss is not trustworthy. When Daxia finds out that this epic boss keeps its word on the surface, but secretly forces us to kill Daxia players, Daxia will definitely not tolerate it. Then, if Daxia wants to solve the problem and kill the boss, it can only send Shadow, right? The other 6 people heard this, looked at each other, and fell into thought. Is this plan reliable? Seeing this, Jizukai continued to strike while the iron was hot. The boss kills us. We kill the Daxia people, and Shadow kills the boss. So isn't this problem solved? When Shadow comes, even if he communicates with the boss and the boss denies cooperating with us, it will be useless. After all, it is impossible for the boss to produce evidence to prove that it did not cooperate with us. So, the boss will definitely take the blame. When the old man in the suit heard this, he was immediately moved. The president of the Sky Snake Guild was originally a governor of the North American government. He was in a high position and had strong combat power. Once the old man made the decision, the matter was basically settled. But at this time, the blonde female swordsman who had just spoken frowned. I disagree. Do you think Shadow is a fool? Jizukai laughed. Stina, is there any other way now? If Qinfeng was present, he would have discovered that the blonde swordsman was one of the top 50 strong men in the world in the previous life. She was even one of the few top strong men who set foot on the land of order. Her real name is Stina Moser, and her codename in the godforsaken game is Nikana. She is the only hidden profession Dragon Palace Guard and has an exclusive weapon, the longsword Dragon Blade. She has always been a player in the Los Angeles Ruin, ranking in the top 3 on the Los Angeles level list, with a group of strong men under her command. The reason why some of the Daxia guilds in Los Angeles have not been suppressed too severely is actually the credit of this blonde swordsman. Out of fear of the Shadow, Stina has always firmly believed that she should maintain friendly relations with Daxia. So after hearing Jizukai's word, the beautiful swordsman said seriously, this incident can be confirmed to be Daxia's revenge. I said before that you are luring an epic boss to the Magic City, which is very risky. Facts have proved that Shadow is fully capable of dealing with this level of boss. Now, the other party has discovered that we are behind it, so they lured the Joker to Los Angeles. In this case, the other party wants nothing more than an apology and compensation. So let them give it to them. Let them make conditions, and ask Shadow to kill this boss, with Shadow's current strength. It is not ridiculous for us to surrender. These words made everyone in the field a little unhappy. After all, they have always been the superior people, and North America is the strongest country in the world. Now let them surrender to others? Jizukai sneered. I heard that Shadow is greedy. Stina, I'm afraid that even if you send yourself to his door, you can't feed him. Since there is a disagreement, then I suggest a vote. It is fair, right? A few minutes later, the voting results came out. 5-2, Jizukai's suggestion was supported by most people. After all, according to what Stina said, North America would lose face, and they couldn't accept it. There was only one white young wizard who shared the same opinion as Stina, and this guy didn't really recognize her, but because he was pursuing her. In the era of the godforsaken game, Stina was too powerful, and she was young and beautiful, and everyone wanted to have something with her. So, the final result was that the Sky Snake Guild began to contact the North American official, let all the major guilds in Los Angeles mobilize, and start looking for opportunities to kill the more than 10 members of the Daxia Guild and blame them on the shocking clown. It's already this time, and you are still killing Daxia people and continuing to offend Daxia. Stina felt powerless to save the situation. She didn't say much, but she realized that she had to prepare in advance and find a way out for herself. She opened the friend list and found Dawn in the friend list. In Stina's friend list, most of the names are in English. Only Fuxiao is in Daxia characters. In fact, Daxia characters are not common in Los Angeles Ruins, and they will be targeted by North American players outside. The reason why Stina has Fuxiao as a friend is because in a conflict, she helped Fuxiao repel the siege of a local North American guild. As the action of the Sky Snake Guild began, the situation in Los Angeles Ruins became more chaotic. Originally, most of the players had gone offline to seek refuge. Most of the players from more than a dozen Daxia guilds had also gone offline. But because they heard that the epic boss Joker would not kill them, they breathed a sigh of relief. Not many people went out to kill monsters against the wind. Only the team that was originally killing monsters outside rushed back to the ruins after receiving the news, wanting to return to the hiding place and face the chaos with the guild members, but never expected. Many players from North American guilds actually launched a siege against them. Okay, I got it. Qinfeng closed the private chat window with Wan Ye Wei Yu. He narrowed his eyes. The shocking clown forced North American players to attack the members of the Daxia Guild. Qinfeng almost laughed out loud, although he didn't know the shocking clown's style of doing things. He only needed to use normal logical reasoning to know that there was a problem. Now, what the shocking clown feared was the information proposed by Daxia that its main body was the shocking hut. It didn't know who proposed this. If it was afraid of Daxia, it would definitely abide by the agreement and not attack Daxia players. If it was not afraid of Daxia, it would have taken action directly. Why would it need to force North American players to do this? From the Shocking Clown's point of view, human players must have communicated with each other. If it really forced North American players to kill Dacia players, it must have been prepared for Dacia players to know about this. In other words, if it did this, it would offend Dacia, which meant that it was no longer afraid of Dacia. But if it is really not afraid, why would it kill the Dacia players in a roundabout way? Why not kill them directly? So, this is completely contradictory. In the final analysis, it is because, be it North America or the Serpentine Guild, they have not really regarded the epic boss as a human. They may think that the boss will allow them to slander, but they did not put themselves in the shoes of the boss to think about the problem. After all, this is the first time they have encountered an epic boss. It is normal to have no experience in dealing with it. Xinfeng shook his head. Things have come to this. Xinfeng will certainly not sit idly by. North America and the Serpentine Guild clearly want to attract Qinfeng to kill the Shocking Clown for free. But how can Qinfeng let the other party do what they want? What's more, he had a plan for this Shocking Clown and Shocking House before, and now it seems that it can really be implemented. Of course, before leaving, he still has something to do. That is to build the Life Source Array. This time, Qinfeng bought a diamond-level array foundation stone from the lava giant Qiige and built it directly in the center of the Magma Church of the Evil Spirit Academy. The Magma Church is not large, but it is more than enough to accommodate a life source array. As long as the life source array is built, any life consumption related to the hiding place will be reduced by 84% in the future, and the construction of the life source array takes time. Qinfeng is not in a hurry. He sat in the center of the Magma Church, holding the Book of Divine Bestowal in his hand, looking at the fist-sized array foundation stone around. Gradually, the outline of the translucent life source array was surrounded. While waiting for the life source array to be built, Xinfeng opened his backpack and looked at the various treasures he had just brought back. He used the Weapon Sublimation Scroll, Shield Disintegration on the Blade of Judgment. Peter. You obtained order. Shield Disintegration. The shield breaking function is very useful. Qinfeng used it directly on the Blade of Judgment. From then on, any shield or barrier was useless in front of him. Then, Qinfeng looked at the two new skills he had just learned in his skill column. One is the platinum level disappearance, which can make his body disappear after death. The other is the legendary general skill book that he bought after staying with Brother Qi for 10 minutes and spending 22,000 years of his life. Son of the upper legendary general skill book. After learning, you can freely allocate your upper resistance can be used in combat. When Qinfeng saw this skill book, he was immediately shocked. It is worthy of being Brother Qi's treasured treasure. This skill is powerful. The text description of this skill may be a little vague, but the effect is actually very simple. That is, after learning this skill, all of Qinfeng's upper resistance affixes can be added together, and then Qinfeng can distribute them at will, and even use them in combat. For example, if Qinfeng now has 1,000 points of resistance of all upper affixes added up, then he can convert these 1,000 points of upper resistance into 1,000 points of nightmare resistance, or 1,000 points of instant death resistance. According to different needs, adjust your upper resistance at any time. The most important thing is that I can now stack nightmare resistance infinitely and permanently. So, after learning the son of the upper skill, I can stack any kind of upper resistance infinitely. Whatever resistance you need, you can convert it into whatever resistance you need. This ability is so outrageous that you can imagine it. If you take into account the effect of the ancient level skill, Blessing of the Lightning Fairy, it can reduce the accumulation speed of the upper level affix scale by 75%. Qinfeng's current resistance to upper level affixes has exceeded the level of his 9-year development in his previous life. Of course, Qinfeng had a mythical divine weapon in his last life. After the effect was turned on, he could be immune to all damage and all higher level affixes. This ability is still very strong for Qinfeng at present. It is a little out of reach. After all, mythical equipment can only be dropped by legendary boss for him, and among mythical equipment, the probability of divine weapons is even lower. Qinfeng shook his head and didn't think so much. He looked at his attribute panel first. After obtaining the higher level affixes, you can unlock the higher level affixes panel. On this panel, you can see that there are a total of 8 higher level affixes. In addition to the inviolable affix, the other 7 affixes have their own resistance attributes. Out of control whispering, nightmare, chaos, simple and crude instant death. Non-controlling restricted affixes include wither 99% damage reduction, stripping, and corruption all gains invalidated. I am now in a stationary state, except for the resistance to whispers, which is 34, 8, and the resistance to nightmare, which is stacked to 739. 2. The other upper resistances are only 15 points. If I were moving at the speed of sound, all the upper resistances would increase by 50 points. In fact, Qinfeng is particular about choosing equipment. In terms of upper affixes, his first choice on equipment is inviolable, so that it can play the maximum effect with Roslav's contract. Apart from this, the requirements for other resistances are not high. The benefits of a pair of Sonic shoes are equal to the benefits of at least 10 pieces of equipment of the same grade. Although it requires running at the speed of sound to trigger, it is not difficult for Qin Feng. What's more, now that he has learned the blessing of the Thunder Fairy, the stacking speed of the upper scale is reduced by an additional 75%. In this case, as long as the boss is killed before the upper gauge is full, there is no need for too much upper resistance attribute. But it is precisely because of this, Qin Feng is somewhat powerless when facing high-level bosses. For example, the two-headed phoenix Lutasil is difficult to fight because of its poor upper resistance, but there is nothing that can be done about it. Under normal circumstances, even if Qin Feng finds a set of equipment with relevant resistance, the upper resistance cannot be stacked too high. This is because his current level is too low, the resistance attribute on the equipment is too low, but now, after learning the skill of Son of the Upper, the situation is completely different. Transfer all upper resistance to Whispering Resistant. When Qin Feng issued such an order, he saw that his other upper resistance attributes became 0, while Whispering Resistance soared to 849 points. 849 points? This is the sum of Qin Feng's current upper resistance. If running at the speed of sound, the total upper resistance will increase by 50 x7 and 350 points, and the final upper resistance will be 1199 points. These 1199 points of upper resistance can be adjusted to any upper resistance, and this is the effect of this skill before it evolves. What will happen if it evolves? Qin Feng couldn't help thinking. Originally, he was still saving evolution points to evolve the Abyss Curse skill, but he found that these evolution points really can't be saved. Let's evolve it first. Qin Feng's hands are itching. First, the platinum level vanished. You have consumed 1 evolution point, and there are 297 points left. Bada. Vanished platinum, emerald. General skill. When you die, the body will disappear immediately. The body will explode, and 100 points of instant death scale will be added to the hostile targets within 20 meters around. Qin Feng looked at it and was a little shocked. This is awesome. The emerald level skill of vanishing. When you die, not only does your body disappear, but your body will also explode, directly adding 100 points of the instant death scale. According to the current player level, whoever kills Qin Feng will kill all the enemies within 20 meters around Qin Feng. Then Qin Feng continued to evolve this skill. Anyway, before the legendary level, the evolution points consumed by skill evolution are not many. You have consumed 2 plus 3 plus 50 evolution points, and there are 242 points left. Then, Vanishing Emerald Diamond Epic Legend. Universal skill. When you die, your body will explode, adding 100, 200, 300, 500 points of the instant death scale to the hostile targets within 20, 30, 40, 50 meters around you. New effect of legendary level. When the corpse explodes and kills the target's corpse will continue to explode. Evolve this skill all the way to the legendary level. Qin Feng is a little silence. This legendary effect is really awesome. This skill is not rare, but Qin Feng's skill evolution effect is unique in the entire godforsaken game. Qin Feng did not expect that this skill would have such an outrageous effect after evolution. If I die once in a densely populated city, wouldn't it be possible to blow up everyone in the city? It's just that the range is a little small if there is a cursed slab. It would be great to watch a useful range affix. I have to say that this skill is really amazing, but for Qin Feng, it is not very useful. After all, if he wants to kill people easily, there is no need to rely on this method. Then there is the Son of the Upper skill that Qin Feng has high hopes for. This skill starts at the legendary level, even if it is the first evolution. It takes 100 evolution points to evolve to the mythical level. If it wants to reach the ancient level, it will take 2,000 points. Qin Feng thought about it and realized that this skill has a very obvious effect on his actual combat power. So it evolved twice. The evolution points have been used up. I'll save them up next time. Qin Feng felt a little sorry, but fortunately, the evolution effect of this Son of the Upper is quite terrifying. You have consumed 100 plus 2,000 evolution points, and there are 42 points left. Son of the Upper Legendary, Mythical, Ancient. General skill. You can freely allocate your upper resistance can be used in combat. Mythical new effect. Your upper resistance increases by 50% and 100%. Ancient new effect. Your upper gauge reduces the current 10% per second. When Qin Feng saw the evolution effect of this skill, he was quite satisfied. First, when it evolved to the mythical level, a new effect of upper resistance increased by 50% was added. Then when it evolved to the ancient level, the effect increased to 100%, and it could also reduce the current upper gauge by 10% per second. Although the effect seems not as good as the old Scourge Snake Fang, but it's not bad. After all, this is just an additional effect of a skill, while the old Scourge Snake Fang is a mythical item Qin Feng discovered. Now in terms of upper resistance, he seems to be more and more like a boss. When I stack Nightmare Resistance higher than tens of thousands of upper resistances, won't it be invincible? Qin Feng was a little fascinated. However, stacking Nightmare Resistance is not a matter of one day or one night, and you have to kill more monsters in normal times. Just then, the life source array in front of Qin Feng was finally built. Almost tomorrow or the day after tomorrow will be the first Wasteland spread. Just before that, extract the Evil Spirit Academy to reality. At that time, with the support of the life source array, even without magma energy, The defensive barrier will be as solid as a rock. Qinfeng packed up a little. Then he got up and prepared to go to the Los Angeles ruin. Before that, he resurrected the gray chicken from the pet space. The resurrected little phoenix had all its gray feathers restored, but it seemed to be in a bad mood. Qinfeng asked, "What's wrong with you?" The gray chicken sighed. "Your Majesty, alas, when I just ran back, that stupid brother looked at me eagerly. Alas, so pitiful. How uncomfortable was that brother when we were running away?" Qinfeng, "If you feel uncomfortable, go and accompany it." The gray chicken immediately flapped its wings. "Aren't we busy now? I will definitely do it next time." Qinfeng smiled. "After all this time, you are just a plastic brother." He carried the little phoenix and walked towards the teleportation array. Originally, it took 274 years to teleport from the ruins of the Magic City to the ruins of Los Angeles Chicken. But under the effect of the life source array, Qinfeng only spent less than 44 years of his life to teleport to the ruins of Los Angeles Chicken. Qinfeng just teleported here and felt that the ruins of the city had become a mess and extremely chaotic. There were no awake players near the teleportation array. There were only players in a nightmare state, wandering around like zombies, running wildly, screaming in pain, crawling in the dark, running twistedly. Waiting for the next harvest of the shocking clown, Qinfeng remained invisible and slowly walked out of the room where the teleportation array was located. Gray Chicken stood on his shoulder, also without saying a word, looking around nervously. "Let's go find the shocking clown first and discuss a business deal." Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly. He raised his hand to summon the equally invisible Osiris to his side and instantly flew to the sky from a high and overlooking perspective. It is easy to find the current location of the shocking clown at this time in the ruins of Los Angeles Chicken. There are still many North American Guild players who are besieging and killing some Daxia players. They had no idea that the shadow had quietly descended upon this city. The invisible bone sword, Pterosaur King, soared in the sky of Los Angeles ruins. Qinfeng stood at the head of the dragon. His indifferent eyes swept through the ground in the ruins, through the mask of lifelessness, searching for the target. He saw that the ruins were in chaos. But overall, the number of players was much less than that of the city ruins in Daxia. On the one hand, the population of Los Angeles was originally smaller, and on the other hand, it was naturally the influence of the Shocking Clown. Although the basic range of action of the Shocking Clown was only 30 kilometers around the Shocking Hut. After all, as long as there was a corpse, the Shocking Hut could be rebuilt, which meant that within the range of the ruins, the Shocking Clown was still relatively free. This made most of the players who knew the news in Los Angeles go offline to save their lives. Those who have not yet gone offline either have not received the news or are hiding in their own guild's hideout. Players are still more relieved with the protection of the defensive barrier of the hideout. After all, even for an epic boss, it takes time to break the barrier of the hideout. But is it really like this? Qinfeng temporarily cancelled the ancient level effect of Umbra Perception. The effect is that after seeing through the invisible target, the target will be directly 100% stripped and the target's 5 senses will be temporarily deprived. Find the Trembling Clown first, then find the Trembling House. If this seeing through effect is retained, then when Qinfeng sees through the Trembling Clown, the Trembling House will be alert and run around. After all, there are too many player corpses in the Los Angeles ruins now. There are even some level 10-15 monster corpses. The Trembling House can be reshaped and regenerated from these corpses at any time, thereby moving to another location, just like a flexible dog in the mountains. Even Qinfeng can hardly really threaten the existence of the Trembling House in this environment. So, it must be a fatal blow. Qinfeng and Osirio soared in the sky together, and no one found their traces. Soon, Qinfeng found the hidden Ernie Ross, the Shocking Clown, in a ruin in the northwest of Los Angeles. It was twisting its limbs like a shadow, holding 2 daggers, maintaining a level 8 stealth state, and wandering coldly. It did not attack those hiding places, because there are still many fearless North American players wandering outside. There are even players fighting each other. Mayor Fake, sang Fbiki. In the ruins of a blacksmith shop, 2 teams of players were fighting because of a silver level boss, insulting each other and throwing all kinds of skills. Such players are either really not afraid of death, or they really haven't heard of any news about the Shocking Clown. This is not a rare thing. Even in the old internet era, some hot news would not be heard by a large number of people. Even if the blue planet is about to be destroyed, and countries around the world are broadcasting, there will still be many people who don't know. Some things seem to be known by everyone on the internet, but that is because everyone on the internet is online, while in reality many people are not online, or do not go online all the time. Just when this team of Latino players clashed with another team of black players, suddenly, a knife flashed in the darkness. The Shocking Clown blade slash. The knife flashed within a range of 20 to 30 meters around, amid the cries of parents. The Shocking Clown's attack came with the instant death affix, killing 12 players on both sides in succession. After the attack was successful, the Shocking Clown, Erniros, instantly became invisible and absorbed the lifespan of everyone in the field. Qinfeng saw it, but naturally did not attack. After he found the Shocking Clown, He began to observe the shocking clown's movement trajectory, and soon discovered this guy's range of action seems to be relatively fixed for the time being. It means that the location of the shocking hut should not change for the time being. Qinfeng observed very carefully. Soon, we found a gold level hideout not far away. It looked like a 3-story school. Something was wrong. There were still quite a few players in the hideouts of other guilds. Some players were killed by the shocking clown and fell into a nightmare state after death, and then resurrected in the hideout. At this time, guild friends would help to control these guild members who were in nightmare within the range of the hideout and prevent them from running out to die. But in this 3-story school hideout, it was too quiet. There was no one. Or rather, it's not that there is no one in this hideout, but that everyone in this hideout is completely dead. So this is where the Tremor House is. No one is in the guild hideout. Most likely everyone is dead. As for how the Tremor House got into the hideout of the player guild, that's also very simple. As long as there is a corpse in the guild hideout, sometimes guild members fight and kill each other, dragging the monster corpse back to the hideout. This situation is not very rare, especially in North America. And the reconstruction of the Tremor House ignores the defensive barrier. As long as there is a corpse in the hideout, the Tremor House can use the corpses as raw material to reshape a brand new Tremor House at the location of the corpse. When the Tremor House appears inside the guild hideout, what does it mean? After a while, Qinfeng rode Osiris and flew to the vicinity of the Gold Level Torture Academy hideout. Soon he saw that in a classroom on the first floor of the Torture Academy, there was a strange flesh and blood hut, beating like a heart if you don't look carefully. This hut is inconspicuous, but Qinfeng came to find it with a purpose, so he found it easily. Really cautious, Qinfeng thought indifferently. This epic boss found a hiding place as a base. Once there is danger, it has enough time to escape while the opponent breaks through the defense barrier. You can imagine. In a place like Los Angeles Ruins where there are many players, this shocking clown is completely unsolvable for current players. The only way is to evacuate all the players around as much as possible. And Qinfeng, of course, will not be so kind as to help North America kill this boss. He has a better plan. When Qinfeng found the location of the shocking hut, he knew it in his mind. When facing this kind of boss, the most important point to communicate with the opponent is deterrence. At present, other players simply do not have this condition, but for Qinfeng, it is too easy to deter this thing. At this time, the shocking clown was still wandering in the ruins, not knowing that its base camp had been discovered by Qinfeng. Just when it killed another player team, it was absorbing the life light ball on the ground. Suddenly, a series of strange and familiar languages came out in the air next to it, which made the shocking clown instantly explode. Strange, because the shocking clown has not heard that language for a long time. Familiar, because the shocking clown has also learned the fur of the language, that is, the ancient language of the gods. At this moment, the shocking clown was shocked. As a boss assigned to North America, he was initially taught the official language of North America, but when he encounters a local player on Blue Star who speaks the Daxia language, he will be taught the Daxia language immediately to ensure that the language between him and the player is smooth. So, Qinfeng can use Daxia language to communicate with the shocking clown. But if he uses the ancient god language, it will be a deterrent to the shocking clown. In particular, Qinfeng's ancient god language, under the careful teaching of a chassis, is very standard. The shocking clown, who had learned the ancient god language before but was not proficient in it, was immediately shocked. It never expected. In Blue Star, a place that has just been connected to the godforsaken game, there are people who can speak the ancient god language. The other party is not a player, but an NPC. This guy, like the two-headed Phoenix Lutzel before, naturally thought of other NPC, but it is obvious that NPCs and boss should not interfere with each other. Don't be afraid. Don't panic, because that can't change your fate. If you want to live, cooperate with me. Qinfeng remained invisible, looking at the somewhat panicked and trembling clown, and said lightly, "Your main body hut is in the hiding place 14 kilometers away. Don't run around, because you can't run away. If you move around, I will destroy all the corpses in the ruins, leaving you nowhere to escape." These words are a bit awkward when spoken in the ancient language. The characters and syllables are also more than Daxia language, but the key is that speaking the ancient language is more deterrent in front of the boss. First, use the ancient language to deter the target. Then name the location of its main body hut. Finally, it is said that its main body hut is the secret of using corpses to move. 3 consecutive heavy hammers directly knocked the shocking clown unconscious. The shocking clown burst into tears. I am just a small epic minion. Why should I face such a big guy? Until then, Qinfeng used the last deterrent method on this guy. The previous ones were all techniques. Only now, is it the real hard power? That is... Wait for me obediently. After Qinfeng said this, the Judgment Blade swung out. Grace Liberation. End mark. Thousand Blade Break 631. 2W. In an instant, dozens of knife lights surged and fell on the shocking clown's head. Before it could react, instant annihilation. A dark knife light instantly penetrated the shocking clown's heart, and the continuous damage of the cutthroat on its body instantly burst out. It took less than a second. The shocking clown didn't even dodge subconsciously. The health bar above his head, which was as high as 90 million, disappeared instantly. In fact, the damage of Thousand Blade breaking alone is not high, without the stolen hand to steal attributes. Qinfeng's agility is less than 1. 500 points, and the total number of damages released by 1000 blade breaking is 29 times, after various amplifications and deducting the target's damage reduction. The final total damage is only more than 6 million. But the key is Qinfeng's Gift of Liberation throat-cutting damage, combined with instant destruction. This damage is directly explosive. The active throat-cutting damage of the Gift of Liberation alone adds up to 15 times the basic damage, which is 81 million x 15 ALD 94, 65 million. When the ancient level finishing move Instant Destruction explodes, continuous damage. It will also increase the continuous damage by 100%, which is to double it directly. The final damage is nearly 190 million. In other words, after Qinfeng threw out this set of skills, the Shocking Clown still owed Qinfeng a life, even if it was the previous Great Disaster Hades. Qinfeng could now rely on the skill of Instant Destruction to directly kill it in the second stage, without having to fight it to the third stage, and this is Qinfeng's 4th level of shock. When Qinfeng released Instant Destruction, the Dark Knife Light burst out instantly, piercing the heart of the Shocking Clown. With the outbreak of the cutthroat damage in its body, the Dark Clown with twisted limbs immediately turned into a ball of blood and flesh. Qinfeng casually cursed it with a flower blossom, destroying its body. Then he rode Osiris and flew back to the hiding place where the Shocking Hut was. Sure enough, if it encountered ordinary danger, this Shocking Hut would definitely have been reshaped on other corpses and changed its position. But now, this guy was stunned by Qinfeng's combination punches. He really stayed here obediently, without moving. Of course, strictly speaking, this guy was trembling a little, so he was not really motionless. Qinfeng held the Judgment Blade in his hand and slashed it on the defensive barrier of the hiding place. Directly invalidated the defensive barrier. He kept his invisibility. He stepped into the hiding place as if he didn't feel anything. He quietly entered the nightmare plus instant death surrounding energy of the Trembling House. Unlike the Trembling Clown, since the Trembling Clown is not the boss body, it does not have a higher level of fix surrounding. But the Trembling House has a double affix surrounding energy. Although the range is not that large, it is still a great threat to players who want to attack this boss every second. 5 points of instant death scale and 3 points of nightmare scale can be added to players within a 200 meter range. If it was before, I would die if I stayed next to this boss for 2 or 3 minutes at most. But now, Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly. He assigned all his higher level resistances to instant death resistance and nightmare resistance. This made his resistance to these 2 higher level affixes reach 1199 points. With such high resistance, Qinfeng's basic survival time around this boss has reached 960 seconds, or 16 minutes. What's more, Qinfeng also has the ancient level effect of Son of the Upper. Qinfeng's upper scale reduces by 10% of the current level every second. In other words, near the Trembling House, Qinfeng stacks 5 points of the instant death scale every second, up to 50 points, or about 8%, and will not increase anymore. Because once it exceeds 50 points, the scale reduced per second is more than the scale added per second. The final result is that it always stays at about 8%. In short, now Qinfeng can completely swim in the upper affixes of the epic Ba, and when Qinfeng leisurely entered the room and wandered in the faint black mist, the upper affix scale above his head never stacked higher. The Trembling House completely surrendered. A flattering smile uglier than crying appeared on the front of the blood-red, bloody hut, because the clown had just died. So, the hut condensed a brand new clown in front of Qinfeng. And this clown was actually a little girl clown. Although the limbs were still twisted, the body was very petite, with a protruding front and a curved back, long legs, and a thin waist. This situation made Qinfeng silent. This guy, don't think he will be interested in this thing. Instead of trying to please me, you might as well try to please the dragon outside. If you make a female dragon clown, that guy might think she still has charm. Qinfeng sighed. A few minutes later, Qinfeng walked out of the classroom where the Shivering Hut was located. In a short time, he had already negotiated a deal with the Shivering Hut. It was called a deal because this matter was also good for the Shivering Hut. At least Qinfeng would not kill it, and he could obtain some resources during the transaction, which would allow it to advance. As for the content of the transaction, it was specifically, let the Shivering Hut become Qinfeng's subordinate. Qinfeng helped it to make connections and contact the officials of North American Los Angeles to formulate a social order for coexistence in the future. Want the Joker to stop killing people? It's very simple. Pay money. Pay money in units of guilds. To be precise, it's to pay life, which can be traded for life. For Qinfeng, instead of killing an epic boss, it is better to maximize its value. Harvesting the life of players is only temporary, but if you can exploit players, it will be a real huge profit. So, Qinfeng's plan is to make this epic boss his subordinate and exploit all the players in Los Angeles on his behalf. Of course, this exploitation cannot be too harsh. There are at least 3 or 4 million active players above level 10 in Los Angeles. Even if half of them are willing to pay protection fees, it will be a huge income. If each person pays 1 day of life every day, the Shocking Clown can receive 6,000 or 7,000 years of life. So, Qinfeng made an agreement with the boss that he would come and take away 5,000 years of life every day. The extra life would be the boss's own. This agreement made the boss grateful. But this guy didn't know. Qinfeng also had a plan. When this guy absorbed enough life and advanced to the legendary level, unless he could bring more value to Qinfeng would be ready to sharpen his knife. As for the amount of protection fees paid to North American players, 1 day of life per person per day was considered reasonable and acceptable to everyone. If people are pushed too far, many of them will evade taxes. The income will be even less then. You should know that the control range of the Tremor House is limited. If players are forced to stay outside and swipe monsters every day without going home, or simply not going online, then Qinfeng will suffer the loss. Therefore, it is more reasonable to set this protection the fee rate without affecting the normal development of Los Angeles players. Of course, in order to expand the control range of the Tremor House, Heinfeng also gave a gift. That is, directly knock down 200 million of its 300 million HP. Thus it enters the third stage. Initially, the range of the Tremor Clown's activities was only within 30 kilometers around the Tremor House. But in the second stage, it reached 100 kilometers. In the third stage, it reached 300 kilometers. Moreover, the Tremor House can create one more Tremor Clown in each next stage. In other words, now the Tremor House can create 3 Tremor Clowns. In this way, the entire Los Angeles ruins can be better controlled. The main body of the Tremor House, go directly to the teleportation array room and leave a clown to guard the door. Don't let anyone teleport to other places through the city teleportation array, of course. If there are players from other places coming, they must be warmly welcomed and don't let them run away. Qinfeng is going to do it directly. There is no way. Otherwise, those old timers in North America will never talk to him about such a business. There is an epic boss in this place. Can't I develop in another place? Anyway, teleporting to the ruins of the next city will only consume hundreds of days of life. At this time, after negotiating with the Tremor House, Hanfeng left the classroom of the hiding place and planned to find the North American manager to chat. When Qinfeng came out, a strange black mass quickly followed behind him. It looked a bit like the shape of a western dragon, but it was very small, and its wings were made up of black muscles and were very twisted. Osiris, who was waiting outside, took a look and was stunned on the spot. Human assassin. What is this? Qinfeng. I asked someone to make a female dragon clown for you. Do you like it? Although it's a bit weird. I tried my best. Osiris had a question mark on his face. Brother Dragon! The black and twisted female dragon clown immediately crawled towards Osiris. Osiris's green pupils were full of fear, and he retreated frantically. Don't come over. Get out. Get out. Help. A few minutes later, Qinfeng rode Osiris in the sky of the Los Angeles ruins. At this time, Wanye Weiyu sent him a private message and introduced the Los Angeles ruined situation. All the players of the 14 Daxia guilds in Los Angeles who are not in the hiding place have gone offline. Although the notification was relatively timely, many people were still killed by the North American Guild. Fortunately, only some lifespans were lost and no one died completely. By the way, Master, there is news over there. Someone from the Tianxi Guild leaked some information to us. Otherwise, we would not have notified the information so quickly. I didn't expect that the boss was so bad. On the surface, he agreed to us and didn't touch our people, but secretly colluded with the North American people to surround and kill us. Hearing this, Hanfeng narrowed his eyes. Tianxi Guild. Is there an insider? However, this insider obviously did not really turn against the party, but just reminded the Daxia Guild to let the members outside go offline quickly. Is this leaving a way out for yourself? Qinfeng realized this. It was really a turn against the party. Then the information leaked by the other party would not only make the Daxia players go offline, but also make the facts clear. The fact is, the siege against Daxia players has nothing to do with the boss. It is North America who wants to put the blame on the boss, but the other party did not tell the truth. Just remind Daxia to let people go offline quickly. People's positions are not so easy to change, but being able to notify us is also a wise man who knows the current situation, Qinfeng thought. If this person has a higher status, then it is just right to cooperate with this person. Although there is a boss as a deterrent, it is not enough to rely on deterrence alone to do such a thing as collecting protection fees. Someone needs to coordinate the operation. So, Hanfeng asked Wanye Weiyu for the other party's godforsaken game code. Unfortunately, Wanye Weiyu shook her head and said, our people didn't say anything. They only said that the other party had been very considerate of our Daxia Guild a while ago. If it weren't for that person, they would be more targeted. They didn't say the other party's identity. They were probably afraid that the other party would be persecuted by people in North America. However, if you go there, you can find an international student codenamed Dawn. She will tell you the other party's identity. Qinfeng knew it. If this kind of thing spreads, once North America knows about it, the other party will not be able to stay in North America. So, the other party quietly gave Daxia a favor. Let's say, if Qinfeng goes, he can tell his identity. Is this a show of goodwill to me? Hanfeng's mouth curled up slightly. In any case, in order to promote the protection fee plan, he must first make North America fall into despair. There is no other way to go, so he can only take the path he has arranged. So, Hanfeng said to a black shadow clown on Osirio's back, you kill people too slowly. Watch carefully and learn well. The voice fell. Hanfeng remained invisible. Jumped off Osirio and killed a team of 24 people from a North American guild at a speed faster than the speed of sound. The team targeted by Qinfeng It was the team responsible for besieging the Daxia Guild. They specifically avoided the northwest area where the terrorizing clown had recently appeared and operated in the southeast area of the Los Angeles ruin. Shit. We killed a few Daxia dogs at the beginning, but now we can't find them. More than a dozen of them are huddled together for warmth, and they are well informed. They must have gone offline after hearing the news. It's really boring. Usually, the superiors told us not to conflict with these Daxia dog. Finally, we had a chance to slaughter them. But they all ran away. They are all cowards. The 24 members of this team were cursing and continuing to look for other Daxia players. In this crowd, there was an Asian youth wearing flame leather armor and holding a flaming longbow. He turned out to be a Daxia International student. His name is Zhang Jingchen, and his game code name in the godforsaken game is JC. Flame. Flame means flame, because his profession is the hidden profession, flame shooter. In fact, he and Fuxia were classmates, and he was very motivated in his studies, and he could definitely be considered a high-tech technical talent. Unfortunately, Zhang Jingchen felt that there was no future in returning to Daxia, so he directly kicked out his girlfriend, who had been waiting for him in Daxia. After that, he found a local white girlfriend whose father was a police officer, which made Zhang Jingchen very satisfied, and he planned to immigrate to North America in the future. At this time, Zhang Jingchen and his girlfriend were in this hunting team in North America. A blonde priest girl ran over and patted him on the shoulder. "Dear Zhang, I just killed a player from Daxia. Do you feel uncomfortable?" Zhang Jingchen smiled and shook his head. "What's the matter? Although I haven't officially immigrated, I am already a part of North America in my heart." The blonde girlfriend smiled. "Then I will feel relieved," Zhang Jingchen said with emotion. "In fact, I admire the official strongmen in North America. This time they can negotiate conditions with the epic boss, which is not something that everyone can do." His girlfriend also nodded obediently. "That's right. God is protecting us. As long as we cooperate with the boss will not kill us, obviously." These players don't know that the North American officials are completely deceiving them. They didn't cooperate with the boss at all. If they really cooperated with the boss, why should they avoid the northwest area where the shocking clown is? And in fact, Zhang Jingchen is still a little nervous. After all, the shadow is too strong now, and countries around the world are suffocating. But in his opinion, Shadow wouldn't pay attention to a little Karami like him, right? The only thing that can attract Shadow in Los Angeles ruins is the epic boss. As for returning to Daxia, Zhang Jingchen had never thought about it. But he heard that there were tens of millions of players in the Demon City ruins in Daxia alone, several times more than the players in Los Angeles ruin. And there were not enough wild monster resources to grab, even if there was Shadow in Daxia. But for Zhang Jingchen, no matter how strong Shadow was, he would not give him a penny. It would be more practical to develop in Los Angeles. However, just when Zhang Jingchen thought about this, something strange happened. In just a moment, he saw that a terrifying upper affix scale appeared above his head, and the heads of the 23 teammates around him. It was the Nightmare Scale. It was superimposed by 40% in just a moment. No one in this team had emerald level equipment, and no one had ever obtained upper resistance. When they were attacked by the Nightmare Scale, everyone reacted immediately. Fuck. Who is it? What's going on? Didn't the boss say he wouldn't attack us? Before they could react, just 1 second later, the Nightmare Scale on each of their heads was superimposed to 80%. The next moment, each of them was swept by an invisible blade. Dark Knight Ring Blade. This blade killed the 24 people and superimposed the last part of the Nightmare Scale, sending them directly into the Nightmare state. At this moment, a series of system prompts came from the guild channel where the 24 people were Player JC. Flame died by unknown existence? Yeah, Player JC. Flame died by an unknown existence. Betam. Player Drag Raiden died by unknown existence. A player... 24 consecutive death notices flooded the guild channel, instantly shocked all the people in the guild who were still online. What happened? Didn't they go to hunt Daxia people? Died from an unknown existence. They were killed by the epic boss. Come to the guild resurrection point. They are crazy when they are resurrected. For a while, the already chaotic guild became even more chaotic, and this incident was just a small episode for Qin Feng. Since the Los Angeles ruins are now quite empty, he can easily distinguish which teams are out to kill Daxia players when he is flying high in the sky. Kill them directly. During this period, Qin Feng naturally used the function of the assassination hood, which can hide his identity when killing people. And every time he kills a target during the effect, he can refresh the cooldown and refill it infinitely. It is equivalent to hiding the identity permanently. In the middle and late stages of the godforsaken game, there are many ways to hide the identity. Also, the killing of the Trembling Clown will be recorded as unknown existence, because the Trembling Clown is not the boss itself. Especially in the later stages, it will be quite common to die from the unknown existence. The key is that, now that Qin Feng has activated the Endless Nightmare, killing the enemy and putting the enemy into a nightmare state at the same time. This death situation is exactly the same as that of the Trembling Clown. So, Qin Feng directly disguised himself as the Trembling Clown and cleared the hunter team in North America all the way. On Osiris, the Trembling Clown, who watched Qin Feng kill people all the way. was already in confusion and doubted his life? Compared with this mysterious blue star player who knows the ancient language, it is a trivial boss. It has to stack the instant death scale to kill a person, and let the opponent die on the instant death scale before the target can fall into a nightmare. If the opponent has many people, it will be very troublesome to deal with it. But this blue star assassin player, directly activate the finishing move, go down and kill everyone in a second, and put everyone into a nightmare state. In this way, Qinfeng disguised himself as an epic boss and soon went crazy. During the period, he passed by the gold level hiding place of the Los Angeles Daxia Chamber of Commerce and saw a long-haired woman with the codename Dawn on her head from a distance. So he sent a friend request from a distance. This girl must know more about some of the Los Angeles ruins than Wang Yu, and the intelligence information can be delivered more timely. The most important thing is, Qinfeng can ask her who is the insider who secretly transmits the message of the Tianxi Guild. With Qinfeng's actions, the entire Los Angeles Guild circle exploded. They were asked and ordered by the top to send a team to the designated area to surround and kill the Daxia Guild players. It is said that after communicating with the boss, they were threatened by the boss. In this way, the boss will not kill them. But now, not only were they killed by the boss, but they were also killed extremely quickly. All the players who went out to surround and kill the Daxia players died once and fell into a nightmare state. This situation made people confused. When did the clown go there? Wait, it seems that there has been no movement of the clown in the Northwest for a long time. Oh my god, why do we have to endure such suffering? At this time, the platinum level hideout of the Sky Snake Guild, the Noble Restaurant, has also fallen into chaos. Bad news came one after another. Soon everyone will know that we didn't cooperate with the boss at all. Haha! This is easy. We can just say that the boss went back on its word. The bad news is that the clown is killing people outside, and now we can't get out of the hideout at all. But there is also good news at the same time. Daxia officials publicly stated that they have notified Shadow to come to our Los Angeles ruins to help us get rid of the boss. At the round table in the Noble Restaurant, Jizakaya, the old man in suits, and others all looked gloomy. It was not until they heard that Shadow was coming that they barely breathed a sigh of relief. Only the blonde beauty Stina Moser said faintly, "I told you earlier that it would be better to apologize to Daxia and give some compensation. Now that it has become like this, we need to pay a greater price." As soon as these words came out, everyone was obviously a little stiff. Their plan to surround and kill Daxia players and attract Shadow to come over can be said to have gone to waste. In this case, how could Shadow come and make them feel good? Even if he wanted to help them kill the boss, he would ask for a lot from them. But it happened. Now the Los Angeles ruins are in chaos to the extreme. Either all people either give up the Los Angeles ruins, or they can only rely on Shadow to save the situation. Just then, the nervous voices of several gatekeepers sounded in the guild channel. President, Shadow is here. He is at the door of our hideout. Their voices were shocked and alert, and there was obvious fear in their words. Shadow. The world's #1 Shadow. The legendary Shadow. The Shadow who has almost never appeared in front of people. For these players in North America, it has long been an imaginary enemy, like a nightmare. When Shadow really appeared in front of them, how could they not be nervous? For a while, the old man in a suit, Jizekai and others all stood up, tidied their appearance, and planned to meet Shadow. In their opinion, Qinfeng came to them to ask a high price and negotiate the price. But what they didn't know was that Qinfeng had already come. Not only had he negotiated with the epic boss, but he even killed a circle around, coming to them now, purely to make them step into a deeper pit. If Qinfeng had played dirty tricks on these people before the godforsaken game came, he might not be their opponent. But now, Qinfeng is at the pinnacle of strength. Then, he has the final say on the rules of the game.